6 of the 1980s hottest young stars, Emilio Estevez, Kiefer Sutherland, Lou Diamond Phillips, Charlie Sheen, Dermot Mulroney, and Casey Siemaszko. Wait, what? Casey Siemaszko? Siemaszko? Casey Siemaszko? What? Was Rob Lowe busy? Really? All right. Jamie?
Yeah.
Let's go watch Young Guns. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Good Times, Great Movies. I am one of your two hosts. My name is Doug McCambridge, and with me, as always, is Jamie Lorello. Jamie, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
You've adjusted to the time change?
I the darkness doesn't scare me, and I embrace the winter. So
well, we're done with October, so I embrace the winter. What is it? This is weird. Like, why do we do this playful banter? It's like we're on a morning show.
I'm sipping my little coffee, just waiting, just crossing
Kelly
my
Ripa,
legs
I
and
can
shaking.
Who's that guy with Kelly Ripa now? Who'd they hire?
I don't
Michael
keep up.
Strahan, right?
I don't keep up.
Wow, you don't even know.
I don't even know. I don't even know. I do kind of think Kelly Ripa looks like Skeletor a little bit.
Oh,
I do know that, but
dangerously thin.
Yeah.
Do you remember she was in that show? She had a show with what was her name? That girl from Murphy Brown, Corky. Do you remember they had like a TGIF show, but it was like after TGIF that we would know.
Yeah. I vaguely remember. It was like a gal buddy show.
I can only assume I'm editing all of this out.
Oh, you should. Because why don't we talk more about Kelly Ripa and how what about the appliances that she advertises? No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to.
Oh, wait, does she advertise appliances? Because then they have Sabrina the Teenage Witch, or what was that other show that she was in? Who's that girl? Melissa Joan Hart.
Oh, yeah.
Remember she was in that Nickelodeon show?
Yeah.
Why can't I think of it? Anyway.
Clarissa Explains It All?
Yes, that's very good. Very good.
It just came to me.
I'm thinking about starting a Hey Dude podcast. I wonder how well that would go over. Do you think, would anyone listen to that, or would it just be me?
Yeah, I think in light of our celebration of Native American Indians, I think the Native American in Hey Dude, I don't even know his name.
I think his name was Joe.
Listen. I think Joe would be all he'd be like, someone remembers me.
I'm embarrassing myself that I don't know his name. Danny was
his name was
I should do that. You know who I should reach out to do this? I should reach out to Abby.
Oh, she would be
Abby
your
and
Hey
I
Dude.
could start this podcast. Hey Dude podcast. There's only like 60 episodes. It wouldn't last that long.
No.
We just go through each episode.
Yeah.
I assume answer live calls.
Obviously.
Have Christine Taylor on as a guest.
I'd expect many reenactments. I mean, you would have to, of your best favorite scenes.
Oh, so you're saying we should just play the roles?
Yes.
She can do all the female characters.
Yes.
I do all the guys, and we go through each episode.
Yeah. I think that would be your best interpretation.
I like that.
It's
but
just
we
a
need
mere
a narrator to go, dusk, bar none ranch. Boys bunkhouse. Anyway, I'm talking to you who watched one episode because Abby and I forced you to watch it in the dorms. And then at the end, I still remember you said, is this what this show's like all the time? You were so upset. Not upset, but just disappointed or kind of judged us for liking this terrible show.
No judgment. Confusion, maybe. No judgment, though.
You know what? That ties in because we are in the Wild West this week.
Yes, we sure are.
And it's not as though I gotta stop talking about Hey Dude. I was just gonna continue.
Wrong. We're not in TV, and we are in the 80s. Although Hey Dude was 90s, right?
Yeah, very early 90s. Yes.
Yeah.
My wife makes fun of me all the time because she says, you know, the kids I babysat for watch that show, right? And I have to say, no, they were reruns. They reran this show in the mid to late 90s. I watched it originally. Actually, it started in 89, so I will continue to talk about it as long as...
I was going to say, here we have the Hey Dude portion of our podcast.
If we could go back in time, I would tell listeners to skip ahead about 7 minutes.
Well, unless you're a Hey Dude fan.
Anyway, and I don't have a lot to talk about before the movie, but those people at Gotta Love the Goot, remember we talked about them? They must want us to succeed.
Oh,
with every bit of their being. This last episode,
how kind!
They talked about us 2 different times.
Really?
In their podcast, yes.
Oh.
And they made mention of our Gate episode. They loved it.
That's
they went
lovely.
into detail about it. Yes. So, they're really great to us, and so everyone should listen to their podcast.
I appreciate that, and I do agree.
And that's it. I have nothing else nice to say about anyone else.
No, nothing else. Well, okay then. So
go ahead.
We're in a new time zone, or new time zone? No, we're all in the same time zones. We're in a new.
Well, we're not all in the same time zone.
That's what I mean. We're in the same time zone that you were in. I didn't mean time zone. We're in a new
time period, an era.
Yeah, we're in all those things.
What are we talking about the movie right now?
No, I was transitioning into the time of year, but it does also make sense for the movie. So.
Oh, you're back on daylight savings time. Wow. Okay, everybody. So we watched Young Guns. You wouldn't know it from the last 8 minutes of this conversation. But yes, we watched Young Guns, 1988, directed by Christopher Kane, who didn't direct... I mean, he still directs stuff. I didn't really recognize much that he had done. This seemed to be... It surprised me that he didn't do anything else. This movie's...
It is jam-packed with stars.
It's well made. I mean, why wasn't he given more work, I guess? Drugs.
Perhaps, yeah. The hard stuff. Or foreign women. Maybe some foreign women. They can be alluring, as we know from this.
Chinese women, maybe? I found myself hung up on the Chinese girl character a little more than I should be, or a little more than I was in the past, because her lines are, first of all, amazing. I don't know who wrote them.
She always looks so scared, too. She always looks so afraid. Even when when she's reunited at the end, and she still is, like, very fearful looking, which I guess, I mean, she's a concubine. What are you going to do?
I don't know. You got Kiefer Sutherland with that crazy hair chasing you around, giving you a bunch of dead flowers at one point.
He is crazy. At one point, he just yells. She's like trying to hustle away from it. He's like, "Stop it!" He's like screaming at her. Yeah. And I'm like, "What, Jesus?" And he's like, "I mean, let me recite some poetry."
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's crazy, but I guess we'll get into it.
Yep. We're going in. We're going in hot. With blazing. We're mounting up.
We are mounting up. Maybe I was hoping maybe I could play some Warren G or something like that, but I don't think it'll make it into this.
Okay. We'll see where it goes. Just forget about it.
Would it surprise you to hear me say that this is quite historically accurate?
Really?
Yes.
Well, yeah. I guess
we don't need to talk about the differences, but a lot of the stuff in the movie actually did happen.
Okay.
That guy who kills Charlie Sheen in the outhouse?
Yes, the outhouse.
He killed Charlie Sheen. I mean, not really Charlie Sheen, but the guy that Charlie Sheen played. He got killed in a fight with that particular guy. Yeah.
So historically accurate.
Oh my God. This is the worst podcast we've done so far.
We're thrills. We're thrills and chills right now.
We're just in the middle of the movie.
We're like,
All right. Well,
All right,
anyway,
so
I should tell you just a little bit of backstory in that
yeah.
there is only one movie that I've seen more in my lifetime than this movie. And it's a little movie called Home Alone.
Home Alone, yes. I know how you love the Home Alone.
But I have seen this movie, my college roommate and I, Chris Ludka, who never refused to come on this podcast, but never responded to my requests.
Shippy.
What a jerk.
I'm calling you out.
I was hoping he'd come on because
I thought it would be a good time.
In college,
Yeah.
he and I lived together for 2 years and probably watched this at least once a week.
In full?
Those are, yeah, well, it was always on in the background.
Okay.
But, oh yeah, it didn't get shut off till it was over.
And whose copy was it? Because you know it was somebody's VHS. Whose was it?
I recorded it off of HBO.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, this was like a once-a-week watch. Home Alone was a everyday watch.
Oh.
Every day for 2 years, we watched Home Alone. And my sister and I one summer watched it every day that summer. Since I graduated
college. What was
college,
it about Macaulay?
I don't know. And since I graduated college, I probably have watched it another 20 times.
Have you watched it with your kids?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They love it.
Oh,
if they didn't, I would sell them to Jack Palance.
Tell them to check.
All right, but anyway, I've seen this movie a lot, so
Okay.
let's get into it.
All right.
I love it.
Here we go then. Blaze it on in. So, we start off
You could
with...
start with the opening credits, which are phenomenal, because we see each character zoomed in on their face, a tight close-up of their face, and their name comes up, and one of them gives like weird shifty eyes, and the other one spits tobacco.
Oh, Dylan McDermott's character the whole time in this movie is filthy and just spits tobacco constantly. Yeah.
Do you feel that they were like, whoa, 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 we cannot shove 10 pounds of hotness into a 3-pound bag? Dylan, we got to make you look like a garbage man.
I think they did. I think they looked at their cast of cowboys or of regulators, and they said, one of you has got to take the ugly stick. And they gave it to McDermott, and they just shoved a huge wad of like chewing gum in the side of his mouth.
We're calling him Dylan McDermott. It's Dermot Mulroney.
Oh.
I get those two confused. It's like Bill Paxton and Bill Pullman, really.
Yeah, kind of. Well, we could call him by his character name. He is Dirty Steve, right?
Steve.
Which makes sense. He is filthy, and he gets dirtier as the movie goes on, and he's constantly chewing on this big wad of stuff and spitting. But, so yeah, the opening, and yeah, we know right away, like, oh, this is Young Guns. This is coming in hot. You've got your cast. You've got, I would say that
this ain't your daddy's Western.
No,
is.
Ain't that true.
This is just hot dudes shooting guns.
This is, I have to tell you, Emilio Estevez's character in this movie, Billy the Kid, totally trumps his stalker character in St. Elmo's Fire.
Can I say that I'm less afraid of his character in this movie than I'm of St. Elmo's Fire? I'm legitimately terrified of that waiter.
I agree.
But Billy the Kid seems like a good guy, really.
Yeah, he's really an honest guy. He's really looking out for the better of the people. So yeah, so we're introduced to everybody. Our crew here
we haven't even started with this movie.
No, I know. We're like 30 minutes in. So we've got Billy the Kid, who is the adorable, serious, sideburns, and he looks very compact. He looks short, doesn't he? Emilio Estevez. Yeah. Then you've got his brother who plays Dick, who's Charlie Sheen.
Right.
He's sort of more of the do-gooder of the bunch, I guess.
He's kind of the leader. He's like the
leader.
Leonardo if they're Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I like the comparison.
Which means that he's boring. You know, he's kind of bland, he's kind of boring, and you kind of know things aren't going to work out well for him.
I know, but I didn't expect what did happen to him.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't.
Okay.
No. So then there's Doc, played by Kiefer Sutherland.
He's the sensitive one of the group.
The poet. There's Charlie. He's the Irish drunkman, basically, right?
Let's say he's the unattractive one of the group.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll call him that. Well, except for Dirty Steve, of course, who is meant to be the dirty. And there's Chavez, who is the long-haired Lou Diamond Phillips. Mm-hmm. Correct?
Majestic hair.
Oh.
Really. I mean,
really? And there is a scene where it is especially majestic. And he is especially dramatic.
Is it when he's overly emotional?
Oh my God! When he talks about his family, yes, his mother,
murdered.
who was like sliced from. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
All right.
Okay, so we're introduced, and because Billy the Kid is now brought to this like ranch where these other regulators are staying with this Englishman. I didn't ever catch his name, but he is. It seems a little suspect because he's this older man with all of these young bucks on his land, and they just help him with things, and he likes them young and misguided because that's how he likes them.
Right.
But at the same time, he's really a nice man. He's teaching them how to read. He feeds them. He teaches them manners, and that's where this crew is staying, who this crew is staying with.
Yes. No, you're right on.
They are his regulators.
I'm just letting you go here.
All right. I'm just giving a setup. So they are his regulators, correct?
Which I don't really know what that means.
They're regulating his land. They're making sure
they
that
regulate
nobody
stealing of his property.
Yes.
It's in the Warren G song. I should know this, of course.
Come on. Did you not do your lyric studies?
No, I guess not. But yes, so he's played by Terrence Stamp, who's a prominent British actor.
Yeah, he's pretty prominent.
Very good, and good enough to not be in this movie for very long.
Oh, he is delightful. You do, you feel
he's
his
a nice
love.
guy.
Yep.
And then, but before anything happens to him, we are introduced to the villain of the piece,
Jack Palance.
Who's Jack Palance, or as a former roommate of ours used to call him, Jack Palance. Which then I started to wonder. I was like, wait, is his name really Jack Palance, or is it Palance? I don't know.
Let's leave it to the IDK. No,
right.
I think it's... Now I'm doubting. Well, he's introduced now as the bad guy.
And he just chews scenery like a son of a bitch. Every time he's on screen, it is just Jack Palancing up the place.
Nice description, yes.
He comes in at one point and threatens Terrence Stamp, and Terrence Stamp says, "These are just boys, and I'm giving them an education."
Yes,
and I love his line and delivery is great because he goes, "I always had you pegged as the type that likes educating young boys." Like, oh my God. And every one of his lines
That's a brilliant imitation, by the way. That was awesome.
But I've never seen him act any different in any movie he's in. I assume that's how he is at home. He's dead now, right? He's got to be dead now.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, but anyway, yeah, he's just scene stealing every time he's on screen.
And you got to love him for it. You got to love him for it. Well cast, I'd say.
Yes.
Good casting. Forgan, good casting. What's the word they use in this movie for a curse? Charlie Sheen says
Fargan.
Is
right?
that it? Yeah.
I think so.
Fargon,
yes.
Fargan,
yes.
Fargon, yeah, I don't know.
But then at one point Billy the Kid jumps on a horse and says, "Let's rock on out of here." And I'm like, wait, I don't think that was slang back then.
No.
So again, historically accurate.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. So we meet everybody. We set up the rivalry and between they're both cattle farmers, right?
They are. They own beef stores. This whole thing is about selling.
Where's the beef?
Yeah,
where's the beef?
Selling food to people in this little shit town, I guess.
Yeah, but the government corruption is also, I guess, the underlying.
You're right.
Piece to the whole thing.
Let's not forget the government corruption of 1860, whatever.
That's what Billy was fighting. That's where he was standing up for, correct?
He was. And he's kind of insane, right? I mean, Billy Kid's insane.
Well, but we don't.
Movie.
So we know, like, he hints on that. So he's the new guy in this group. He's introduced to them, and they're all obviously like sniffing him out, curious about him. And he was known for killing a guy, right? And he says some silly little line like, "Well, what'd you kill him for?" They get in trouble for hacking on him. Yeah,
he says something, and then Dirty Steve and somebody else make fun of him. Mm-hmm. And then they say, we were just hacking on you. And then they say, what'd you kill him for? And he says, for hacking on me.
For hacking on me.
And it's hilarious.
Well, what's hilarious is the audible swallow that then you hear from, I think it's Dirty Steve, when he's like...
Dirty Steve is disgusting. And he delivers... I like it 2 times in this movie. He refers to Billy the Kid and says, "He ain't all there, is he?" I'm like, wait, what? And once, it was kind of funny because it's like, oh, his voice cracked and it was a mistake. But he does it again, like 2 scenes later. And I just imagine they're like, Dermot, you did that already? Like, that's not even your line for this scene? Yeah. And he's like, we're keeping it in.
It didn't matter. He had so much chew in his mouth or whatever was globbing in the side of his face. As the more the movie went, the bigger the side of his face got.
There's one point where he just has like a big chicken leg. And he's just gnawing on it and then drinking whiskey out of a gigantic bottle.
Oh, he's sloppy. But he's Dirty Steve. He's Dirty Steve.
They do go dancing. Before we really get into this movie, they do go dancing at one point.
Well, this is when they go dancing to the party, when that's part of their... Okay, before that, though, we are introduced... I'm staying with our timeline here.
Oh, that's fine. Go ahead.
We are introduced to the new guy. There's a new guy that comes to the door, who later we find out is a traitor.
Yeah, the new guy who the camera lingers on for quite a
while. Yeah.
Saying, "Hey, this might be a guy you want to watch out for."
Dun
audience.
dun 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 dun. Right?
Yeah.
And then before the party, the dance party, it's adorable because Billy the Kid then goes into town and he has like a Pretty Woman moment where he's like trying on nice hats and like feeling all good in like his outfit that the Englishmen bought him because he's a regulator now. And Then the movie takes so you're like, okay, we're in this Western and there's Billy the Kid. Billy has like this moment of feeling so pretty in town. And then the Englishman looks at him and all of them and goes, "Regulators?" And you're like, yeah. And I know and he goes, "Regulators, let's dance." And you're like, what? Where's this movie going now? Well, we're going to a party.
And they're dancing and bebopping all over the place. And this is when we're first introduced to the Chinese girl.
The concubine.
Again, Kiefer Sutherland has an insane obsession over
he
immediately.
Goes wild.
It's not like, oh, remember that time that we met at this place? Or, no, this is the first time he's meeting her and he is crazy for this girl.
He has only laid eyes on her. He's never really talked to her except when he dances with her, right. And has no clue that she belongs to Jack Palance, the bad guy. Not only belongs to him, but her family did bad laundry.
Oh my God!
And now,
can you just demand a Chinese girl if they ruined your shirt? How much did that shirt cost, really? How much money is that shirt where he says, "Nope, you can't afford this. Give me your daughter." And the Chinese say, "Okay, I guess that's the way this goes."
Well, it is sort of ridiculous. It's ridiculous how fast Kiefer falls in love, and it's ridiculous how she got herself into this predicament. But she is.
When because Jack Palance comes over to take her away, and it's another Jack Palance line. But he goes, "Oh, you're one of his boys."
Yes.
He goes, "You tell him. You tell that slug." And for the longest time, I thought he said slut. And I was like, oh, that is a pretty big insult.
That would have been better. You tell that
You
slut.
tell that slut not to leave any slime behind him. All right.
Although slug does sound ruthless.
Right, yes. Yeah. That's a proper insult.
I wish I remembered. So, yeah, Palance's lines are phenomenal. You do them amazingly.
Well, he doesn't really do much after this, to be honest. He kind of just hangs around and yells at his own guys
and looks
for a
shifty,
while.
And he looks shifty a lot. Doc has some beautiful poetry that he recites in this throughout the movie because we know he's the poet, and he recites. And again, the little Asian woman, she looks so confused. She looks so like, I don't know what to do. And he's just reciting like, yeah. I didn't write any of it down. I don't remember any of it.
I don't know what he says, but at the end he goes,
it's pretty ridiculous.
It's a poem.
Yeah.
I'm a poet. I wrote it. She's like, oh, great. That's nice. She doesn't know what a poet is.
The whole time she looks like she's just like afraid. I would be too. You don't know. Anyway. So it's a Happy New Year. It's a celebration. Oh, no,
They're out all night.
Yes.
They're out all night. Oh, we do find out that Charlie can beat people up.
Yes, there's like this weird
Earlier he says he's a pugilist, but Billy the Kid doesn't seem to understand what that word means. And so during the party, somebody bumps into Terrence Stamp, and then Charlie goes out and just beats him up.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
He's a pugilist. So,
yeah.
Which doesn't ever come back into play.
I don't know if he ever tells his wife later.
He never punches a single person again in
No,
this
he's
movie.
scared, he's a scaredy cat for the. He's like the lion in the Wizard of Oz.
That's legitimate. That's legitimate fear. I mean, he's working on a guy's ranch, and suddenly his job is to commit mass murder.
Listen to you sympathizing.
No,
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It could not have been an easy transition for old Charlie.
Again, folks, we're 5 minutes into this movie.
It's a slow crawl through the deserts or the.
No, they're deserts.
Okay.
It's just dust.
Well, so in this desert is where the boys go off to chase a quail, right? They're celebrating. It's a long night. They've had their dance party, and now they're headed presumably home and drunk and chase this quail. And the British
boys will be boys.
Yep, boys will be boys. Go on, Billy. Go chase the quail.
So they leave their boss alone in this wagon.
Big mistake.
Because about 30 dudes ride up on him.
I don't know how they didn't. I guess they were too drunk to know anybody was behind him.
It's a really bad death scene because they shoot him and he stands up.
Yeah, he floats
and then
for a second.
Jumps off and is dead. Like it's really bad. So I assume that part of that was Terrence Stamp's fault and part of that was just a really bad stunt double.
Oh, well, and all of it was caught by the eyes of Billy the Kid.
Right. And Billy wants to kill all these MFers.
Yeah.
But Charlie Sheen has a level head, and he says, no, there's too many.
Yeah,
and so they just ride away. They flee.
They flee and run off and kind of regroup. And they have a funeral for him.
They have a funeral.
Where we realize that Charlie Sheen is also a good reader, much like Billy the Kid. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Doc's in the dirt. Or not Doc.
Doc's in the... That's not till the second one. Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
All our favorite characters die in the second one. What a terrible sequel. Go ahead.
So they're kind of like these lost boys now, and they have an attorney in town on their side, correct?
John Locke is their attorney.
Right.
It's his second appearance. He was in Space Camp, and now he's back in this. And I didn't recognize him in this. I know him right away in Space Camp, but is he wearing a toupee?
Toupee?
He's got to be. Or maybe it's just the mustache or something.
Maybe just the mustache, and he looks trimmer, maybe? But you're right. I kept trying to think, who is that guy? Why do I know him? And that's why, John Locke. Good on you.
Yeah, so he's an attorney, but how does he have the power to deputize them?
Well, he doesn't. He convinces.
He convinces that other guy. The mayor,
and they do it all shady-like in the shed, right? In a shed,
barn. And again, it's the second time in this movie because the opening credits where they're all standing in a line and they all get their guns ready, and it's just like this epic shot. And then they bust out. Bust out this barn on their horses, just yipping and screaming, and. Every time stuff like this happens, Jack Palance and his crew are standing across the street, just kind of
hanging
around.
out. They've been deputized. They have vests. They have badges. Now they have the law, right?
Yes, and it's ridiculous. But I understand it's the Wild West for a reason, but these guys' caretaker was just murdered. So what do you think's going to happen when you deputize them and give them badges? They are going to kill every one of these people.
Well, yeah, if Billy the Kid's on their team, because so now they are sent, right, to begin deputizing. Yes.
To just collect these guys or arrest them or something.
Give warrants,
because Charlie Sheen says, we have warrants for all these people.
Yes. So the first, literally, it's like a shack that they go to, right? Like a trailer with an outhouse.
I didn't know if it was like a bar.
I think
or
it's
somebody's
supposed to be
house.
I think it's supposed to be a bar, but like a real I don't know.
The Wild
shady.
West weird. It's a weird place.
The Wild West makes me uncomfortable. Well, so they get here, and this is when Billy decides. Doesn't the dude that he spoke? Oh, yeah, the dude goes in the bathroom.
Yes,
and Billy follows him in there, and
yes.
instead of serving him the warrant, well, I mean, he does. He shoots the shit out of him, and then shoves the warrant in his mouth.
Right, and then dives in a huge puddle of piss out the window.
But yes.
But then the rest of the regulators have to kind of ride around and then shoot everyone else.
Shootout begins, because everybody, it's the Wild West, everybody's got guns, so there's a big shootout now that happens, and now they're bending the rules. They're not,
Right, yes. But they're not fired yet. They're not fired from being deputies or anything like that.
They're not.
That was just one incident, not a big deal. So they go to find these other two dudes.
Yes.
So this is when Billy the Kid, because they don't know where to go.
Right.
They don't know where to go after this.
Right.
And the new member of their group, the shady member of their group, who may or may not be working for Jack Palance,
suspicious,
tells them, he really tips his hand. He's like, hey, wait, guys. Wait, I have an idea. Why instead of doing what you're all saying, because you're all friends, why don't we go this way instead?
Right.
We go to this town. And then I guess he kind of looks at the other guys that they have at gunpoint. And Billy the Kid's like, wait, I saw that. And he's like, what? He's like, you know what I just saw. And Charlie Sheen tries to calm things down.
Yeah.
And Billy the Kid shakes his hand and shoots him in the face.
And then shoots him right in the face. And now his blood is splattered on Doc's face.
All over Doc's face.
For the first time.
In the meantime, the other two guys try and get away. Lou Diamond Phillips throws a knife in a guy's spine.
Yeah, Lou Diamond, well, that's all he does. Is he doesn't even shoot a gun
knives.
ever. He's just throwing knives, right?
Right.
But yeah. And now
Dirty Steve and Doc, I think, shoot the other guy. So they've now killed 3 more guys.
Yeah. And I love it. Every time they kill, because Doc is so sensitive, he lingers after the kill and just looks at the body.
Yeah, he has to watch that guy with the back of his head blown out float down the river and get stuck on some weeds. But he takes off his hat and his blood-soaked face.
So now they're real killers now, and now that's in the papes. Did they call it the papes? It's in the papers.
Yeah, they called it the papes back in those days. As opposed to these days when nobody says papes. I don't know where that came from.
Well, nobody reads the paper. Well, I do, but I don't think people read the paper.
Oh, you do? You read the paper?
I do.
That's
I
adorable.
like it. I know, but only really the Sunday paper because, the coupons.
All right, great.
Okay. So anyway, back to it. Here we go. So Charlie Sheen is being mistaken for Billy the Kid in these newspaper articles that it kind of rubs him the wrong way, right? There's a bounty hunter now on there, a couple of bounty hunters on their trail, and they're kind of a wanted.
Oh, they're freaking out about this.
Yeah.
One guy, Buckshot Roberts or something, they're like, oh my God.
He's dangerous.
He's the greatest. Mm-hmm. Billy the Kid seems oblivious to everything that's going on around him. These guys all know who these people are. Billy the Kid doesn't seem to be aware of any of
Well, he doesn't faze them. It doesn't matter. He's the one that'll just kind of walk into the bathroom and instead of serving your warrant, he'll shoot you right in the head. He doesn't care, that Billy. Well, and this is when now the Navajo, Chavez, gets some peyote.
Yeah.
Basically, right?
Sure.
He comes back to the group and he tells them, you know what, we're lost and what we have to do is go to the spirit world. And then that will help find us. So now we embark on this adventure with this crew.
It is an adventure, all right.
It's peyote time.
Yeah.
It is time to trip with the regulators.
If you thought you were going to watch a cowboy movie and there wasn't going to be hard drug use, you're wrong.
We're sadly mistaken. Yeah, and Sheen's in it. Come on.
But Sheen's the one that doesn't do peyote.
Oh, that's right.
It's so great.
He does not. That's right.
It's so wonderful. And it's Was he casting that role just as like a little wink at the audience? Like, you guys getting this? Come on. Come on. He wouldn't pass this up, right?
But was this too early? No, I guess this wasn't too early for Bad Boy Charlie.
Right? I don't know.
Well, so now the group, you're right, except for his character, does do peyote. Doc kind of narrates the whole thing. Everything is in slow motion and in really slow.
She's my butter. He's all tripped out.
And he's reciting
talking
poetry.
About this Chinese girl, I guess.
Yes, and people and life. And then there's a bunch of knuckleheads with shotguns doing peyote. So there's just a lot of shooting. And Dirty Steve keeps chasing a chicken.
Everyone. He's yelling about a chicken. He's got a weird bandana on his head. And Charlie's throwing up.
Yeah, Charlie's like posing, doing yoga, and then puking. And then... then they mount up, and even Billy the Kid, he mounts the horse backwards. They're a big hot mess. Oh, this is as they're tripping, and they ride through an old Indian reservation, and I think it's Dirty Steve that says, "Why ain't they killing us?"
No, it's Charlie that says, "Hey Chavez, how come they ain't killing us?" And Dirty Steve goes, "'Cause we're in the spirit world, asshole. They can't see us." And it's so great. And the whole time, Charlie Sheen's just tipping his hat to people going, "Sir."
So that's brilliant. Their little trip down Peyote Lane is pretty fun. It
really is, because it comes to nothing. Like, there's no reason for that to be in this movie.
Yes.
But I guess it's just, again, to endear us to this group. Like, that's the thing. We want to feel bad if any of them die. Well, we want to feel connected to these people, and that's a great way to do it, really.
We want to be on all their adventures, sure. I agree. Yeah. Taking drugs with people is a communion kind of thing. Communioning? Sure. Yeah.
Right.
But however, it does not bring Dick or Charlie Sheen and Billy the Kid closer together. They're very tense with each other.
They hate each other.
Yeah. Because Billy is this crazy kind of punk renegade that just wants to, take the law in his own hands and is kind of becoming more of the leader of this group.
People are turning to him for advice.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
And Dick's not too happy about this.
No. And now they stumble upon, I think it's another bounty hunter, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's really weird because they just go out to kind of talk to this dude.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's like laying guns on the ground and getting all ready for this big shootout, and they're just kind of standing there going, "So what's going on?" It's really weird.
Yeah.
And then he shoots Chavez in the gut.
Yeah.
And then retreats into an outhouse.
Yeah, then he hides out in the bathroom.
He also kicks the door open at one point and shoots Doc in the hand.
Yes.
He's really making short work of this crew, which I thought up to this point were pretty good gunmen.
I thought they were good too, but not for the big guy in the outhouse. That's the thing. And they all shoot. Don't they all shoot the shit out of the outhouse?
Well, that's after Charlie Sheen gets it.
Oh. I thought that was before. Charlie, once he goes in the outhouse, doesn't Charlie kind of then give the nod? He almost passes the torch to Billy the Kid, because doesn't he look at him and he's like, "Go in there and go get him." Like, he goes in the outhouse, and Charlie's kind of like, "Go in there and do your trick." To him.
I think he wants him to be killed.
Oh,
that's what I thought. Because then the door swings open again, and the guy shoots, and Billy the Kid hides.
Right.
And that's when Charlie Sheen decides to go out as the leader.
Right.
And he does nothing. He just gets blown away.
He gets killed.
In slow motion.
Yeah.
And
I did not expect Charlie's death, but it came. It did.
Oh. See, I thought there was too much tension. They couldn't keep that going. This had to become Billy the Kid's group at some point.
You're right. And this is when the group makes their transition. They are not regulators anymore. Now
they're outlaws.
They're outlaws. They're Billy's outlaws. And they are
Billy's outlaws.
That's what they are. They're going to start a karaoke band somewhere in Nebraska. Doc then decides to go off
to stalk that Chinese girl again.
So his hand is injured. He decides to go back into town. He says to take care of his hand and to go write Dick's mom a letter. about his death.
Yeah.
And he really, he like does. Is this when he crawls up into bed with her? Like she's like sleeping and he's like covering her mouth, like
yep.
Shh. And again,
because Jack Palance and his cronies are all hanging out downstairs at this place.
Right.
Yes.
And she looks terrified.
She is terrified.
But at the same time...
If I could just say a few of her lines here. She says, "You come to lay with me and then cut me up into little pieces. Yeah. You're the bandit who eats children."
But then
children.
He goes, "I eat meat and potatoes, not people."
Yeah, he's got a great comeback. But then she's not all that scared because later he says something and she goes, "I keep the flowers you offered me in a room inside my head." That's crazy.
It's a little bit creepy too, right? And he wants to take a train out of the country with her to Canada or something. He wants to escape, right? So while he's with her, though, stalking her down, the rest of the gang have kind of a heart-to-heart. This is where the worst acting takes place by Lou Diamond Phillips when his long hair is blowing in the wind and he tells the tale of his Red Sand reservation. And so they're trying to decide if it's worth all this killing, and Billy the Kid's like, "Yeah, we're killers. It's what we're doing. We have to like revenge the death of this guy," and yada yada yada. And everyone's like, "Yeah, but Murphy will get his. The bad guy will get his," and whatever. Trying to see who's got the more kind of revenge feeling, and Lou Diamond Phillips goes on this little monologue about what happened to his family and about how his mother was cut from her privates to her neck, and the sacred hoop was broken, and this whole crazy like. He needs to now lead his people or start his people out in the West, and this is just crazy talk, and it's terrible. It's really terrible.
His sisters had their heads bashed in with boot heels so the army could save bullets. Now, I'm not calling him a liar because I understand that there were terrible atrocities done to Native Americans.
Right.
But that sounds like a bit of an exaggeration. Like, who's going to go along with that? Who's going to be like, let me just stomp on these kids' heads.
Historically
instead
accurate.
Of shoot them.
Who knows?
You could be right.
Well,
I should have done more research on Wikipedia about the validity of his story. And why he sought the West so badly. And I am really confused about his character because this is really the only time we get any sort of Native American connection with him. Because...
Besides when he finds peyote for them in the snow?
Okay, and that. But for the most part, Dirty Steve... doesn't like him. They're not good friends.
Him and Dirty Steve don't get along. And he always calls him a
Mexican greaser, like the whole time. He never refers to him as an Injun or anything like that. No. So I just wasn't sure.
Well, and his name is Chavez.
But his performance, I think it's great.
You do?
I do.
It was moving for you.
I did not. I thought it was...
Were you moved to tears?
No.
Okay.
I was surprised he wasn't. That's what he should have done. He should have broken down and started crying. Yes.
Well, he did. He was very impassioned.
I thought it was appropriately impassioned.
Okay. Fair enough.
Not over the top.
Okay. Maybe rewatch. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, what I became passionate about after this was not just his the plight of the Navajo, but then Billy the Kid brings it back together. Is it Billy who brings it back to the tribe now being pals?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Like, your pals are your tribe now,
right, exactly.
not your family, and it's beautiful.
Hey,
I
dude,
want
listen,
pals.
Your sisters are dead. We're your family now. He doesn't say that. That would have been terrible.
Your sisters are dead. Bashed in skulls.
I don't think Lou Diamond Phillips would have gone for that.
No.
But no, he really does turn them around. I mean, he really has control over these guys and really gets them to do what he wants, which is
even when he doesn't look. So now later, Doc comes back, and now, right, he comes back from not getting the woman to follow him, and now Billy's like, now the fun can really start. Doc is back. And they basically go back into town, and they sort of declare war, right?
Yeah, apparently they have to speak to their lawyer about declaring war. And they kind of say to their lawyer, like, well, what are you going to do? And my thought was, wait, is this lawyer in danger? Like, how do they think that he's in danger? I mean, we find out later that he is.
He is, yeah.
But I didn't understand why they seemed concerned about his well-being. He's just a lawyer.
Well, but he's has been in cahoots, I guess, with these guys.
I guess. But yeah,
So-
he kind of lays down the law and he's like, listen, you're not deputies anymore, in case you guys didn't know.
Yeah. The law is not recognizing you. And they just want, like, Billy the Kid just wants attention. He wants the president's attention. He wants to change, the corruption in the law. I love it.
He's a true American hero, really.
Yes, really. In reality, it's true. Adorably so. I love it that
You
when
just
they
want
all
to put him in your pocket.
he does, because he's so little. He's so compact. I love it when they all drop their badge. So they're like, yeah, well, F that. Like, we don't want to be deputies, and we don't want, like, we're going to do our thing. And now we're just, we're renegades. It's who we are. And they throw their badges down.
Taking a stand when he already said, you're not deputies anymore. I was like, who's going to hold on to that and be like, no, I am.
Well, I love it. They all kick and throw their badges except Doc. He politely hands it to the lawyer. And then he asks them about getting, like, the Indian or the Chinese girl some asylum or how they can help her out legally. He's like, is there anything we can do?
He's got issues that, like, there are people, the military, who want to murder you. And all he cares about is this Chinese girl, which... Okay, that's adorable. That's fine. But again, he seems totally detached from what's actually
He's concerned. He's in love. He's an artist, a poet. He's blinded by love.
She's his flower.
Yeah.
And no, he's
her
his
flower
butterfly.
in her mind?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's the flower and she's his butterfly.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Poetry.
But is this when Charlie wants to go see a prostitute, though?
Yeah, so this is when Charlie gets super, super scared because he can read the papers and they're going to get hanged. And I love Billy the Kid's response to that. He's like, yeah, if we get caught, we're going to get hanged. Like, that's just what's going to go down.
And he thought it was so funny. They're like, did you ever see somebody get hanged? He's like, yeah, I saw a guy and his head popped right off. And he's laughing.
Because he's crazy.
Dirty Steve's doing another really loud swallow at this point.
And then a big loogie that he spits. Charlie gets his dying wish to basically be held by a whore.
Okay. Yeah, basically. But I did read that there was a deleted scene.
Oh.
And it's, like, I don't know why they deleted it, because this would have been interesting. He wants to be held by this woman, right? Mm-hmm. There's no sex at all. Mm-hmm. And there's a deleted scene where he comes out of the prostitute and they meet back up and everything. And he basically says to the guys that is his mother. So he finally, like, meets his mother before going off to war, which is kind of cute and adorable. And I don't know why they cut it, but I don't know. I don't really know the reasoning behind it, but yeah.
Huh. I kind of thought, like, when he went in for the hug and the way the hug, and she was an older woman, like, I could see where that would be a piece that like they said that set up that way.
Exactly.
But it doesn't matter, because then he later meets his wife. So he meets his both mother and wife.
Right.
So in this particular case, so yes, he gets this prostitute and they're at the saloon. And while the rest of the gang is waiting while he's being held, there's this guy at the bar.
This guy's great.
With, like, I wrote mustache hair.
He looks like he should be in the circus. Like, he should be the ringleader.
He looks like a ringling brother. Like, his hair. No, he looks like, what are the ones that tame the lions? Who are those two guys?
A lion tamer?
No.
Oh, you mean Siegfried Roy?
Yes. Okay. He's like, his hair's long and flowing, and he's wearing, like, he looks like a comically
it's
like character.
I was even going to say Saturday Night Live, but, like, if the state did a sketch about the Wild West, this is the stuff they would slap
even
on
the
their
chick
faces.
he was talking to, like, was just some, like. So yeah, he's at the end of the bar, and he's a badass. He's one of the other badass bounty hunter guys, right?
I guess.
I think that's who he is, as handsome and debonair as he is. So Billy the Kid, always being the brave Billy, kind of walks over to him.
I like how Doc kind of reaches out like, oh, no, don't do this. And then he just kind of pulls his hand back like, all right, this is going to happen.
Let's just watch this go down.
Right.
And they do, right? So
Yeah.
he asks to see, he doesn't know who Billy the Kid is. So he's saying he's there to kill Billy the Kid. Or
they still think he looks like Dick, right? He looked like Dick in the papers. So
yes,
there's
that's the picture that they put out there, right? So they don't know. So when and Billy he looks like a kid. So he comes up to this man, asks to see his gun. I love the banter here because he's like, so he holds the gun for a minute, and the guy's like, you stroke a gun like that, you stroke a man's bone or something like that.
Yeah, like a man's peck or
and he tells him something about spanking his little bottom, like if he doesn't give him his gun back.
You run off before I have to drop your trousers or whatever and spank your little bottom red.
It's very weird. It's a very weird interaction between him and this
It's weird because I'm like, wait, Emilio Estevez doesn't look like he's 5. Like this, he's an adult, clearly.
He's a short adult, but he's an adult.
That guy only sees people in terms of size.
Well, so Billy starts kind of giving it away that he is Billy. So he's taken the gun and he's done some shady shit with it. Now he gives the gun back before he gets his spanking, and he starts like looking in the mirror, and he's like, "Look there, I see him. And the guy's like, "Oh, don't be a twit" or whatever.
Right. This is my favorite part of the movie. I really
is it?
Like. Oh yeah. I love
it is
this.
pretty fun. It's a pretty fun little interaction. And then, they were talking about how Billy the Kid is known for whistling sad ballads.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And so he does this thing, joking in the mirror. There he is, and then he starts to whistle. Mm-hmm. And then it's a dead giveaway. Uh-huh. This is Billy the Kid.
And I like how this guy's reaction is, I'm going to shoot this person.
I'm just going to shoot him.
For making fun of me, I guess. I was just going to spank him because he's a little boy, but now I'm going to blow his brains out.
Well, because now he's Billy the Kid, so now he should die, but he's got no bullets in his gun. And then, right?
Yes.
And so Billy kills him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And now the group, again, is off.
I do like then after he shoots him, he turns to the doc and he's like, "What's that? 10?" And he's like, 3
4
or something like that. And he goes, "Let's make it 8."
He's so crass, that Billy. So again, now this group is in more hot water. They go and retreat to the desert to sort of regroup with themselves. This is a funny, like, the Navajo is taking splinters out of Charlie's ass.
Yeah.
And then Dirty Steve and Doc are kind of soaking in like some natural hot springs together.
They're taking a bath.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And Billy the Kid is kind of almost high on the kill, right? Is this when he's like...
Yes.
He's kind of thrilled by all of this action, and these guys are kind of,
Well, they're feeling it. Like, they're really feeling what's happening, and they're genuinely scared, but he's not.
They're overwhelmed, yeah.
Right, yes. There are several shots. Can I ask you to speak for all women across the world for a second here?
Okay.
There are several shots in this movie of dudes' butts. Like, does that do anything for women? See a guy's butt in a movie, like, is that, like, I understand that there's not...
Is it like boobs or something? The only time that the butt was even like that's kind of adorable, and it was kind of a creepy adorable, again, because Emilio Estevez is so little, when he stands up in the bathtub at the one point you see it's like a hiney. It's not even an ass. I'm like, aw, like his stunt double was probably an 8-year-old and that's kind of creepy.
You're like, oh, that's what that guy wanted to smack. That's so cute.
So I don't know if all women felt that way about this movie, but
okay,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
Sorry, we got sidetracked there.
Sometimes you got to talk. You got to talk ass,
That's right. Sometimes.
Okay, so and you're right. I think that's another coolie we get to see with splinters in it. So this group now, they want to rest. They want to just go to Mexico and get a good night's rest, and that's at least what Doc wants, and a warm meal.
Right.
And that's when Billy plays a little reverse psychology on them, I guess, because he's like, "Oh, Mexico. Well, like Mexico's even worse. Like, they're waiting for you at the border. They want to kill you there. It's danger. Danger is...
He is able to manipulate this group. And I don't think we're ever supposed to think that he's a real bad guy.
No, we're supposed to find him...
But if you really analyze it, he's pretty terrible. I mean, he's already gotten one of their crew killed.
Yeah.
And he doesn't seem to care about anyone else.
No.
Like, there's never a time where he kind of has some sort of connection with anyone else in the group. They seem like a team. Like, they've been together for a while, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's kind of this weird outsider that just kind of is bloodthirsty and doesn't care if they all get killed. You know what I mean?
Well, he does put them very much in harm's way. And I love when he does bond with anyone, when he bonds with Charlie, when Charlie freaks out when they're in that house at the end, which we're getting to.
Wait, did you say when he bonds with him, when they're pointing guns at each other's face?
No, at the end there when he loses it. Charlie loses it when they're in the house, and he finally, he's not scared anymore, and he stands up and he starts shooting a lunatic.
Sorry, I get so confused. I thought you meant Charlie shooting.
Oh, no, sorry. I meant Charlie the character. Okay, right. Sorry. They get to Mexico, right? Mm-hmm. And instead of it being dangerous, they're welcomed by women who are like, "Hola, arriba!"
They love them for no reason.
And they live it up here. This is Billy.
Again, dancing, shooting, piñatas. Billy's dictating
soaking
letters to Doc while he's in the tub.
He's soaking in the tub with a cigar in his mouth, dictating a letter to Doc. The other two, this is funny because you're right. Dirty Steve and Chavez do not like each other. And at this point, I think Dirty Steve looks at Chavez and is kind of like, well, you're all right, or something like that. And Chavez looks at him and he's like, many nights I took blades to your throat while you were sleeping.
It's terrible. And I think, again, does he leave and then you get another odd, loud gulp from him or something? He is just scared and dirty through this entire movie.
I think he spits something again. I think he gulps and then hops a loogie.
Yes.
Oh. And now, Billy recites...
But Charlie's getting married.
Yes. So, and now Charlie...
Sorry, I don't mean to jump ahead. Would you like to talk about Emilio's butt a little bit more?
I do like that his line is P.S. kiss my ass, and then it's cue butt, and then cue Charlie getting married. And then, now we have a wedding.
I like how Charlie's getting married elicits Emilio leaping out of the tub. Again, just an excuse for a bare ass.
For just a little hiney action. Also, so Charlie gets married. There's a wedding, a celebration to a Mexican woman who I guess love is just sparks between these guys and foreign women, because Kiefer.
I thought you meant literal sparks, because I think that there's then spinny sparks and stuff where there's a big party.
Oh yeah, because they do. It's a fiesta. Yeah. This is where though now Billy gets a hot tip from
Pat Garrett.
Pat Garrett.
Yeah, Pat Garrett shows up, tracked them down somehow.
In Mexico, from Nebraska to Mexico. It happens.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Somehow. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Lets them know, hey, your attorney friend, it's going down at his house. You need to come back and help out if you can. And the group decides to just leave the wedding and go. And this is magical.
He leaves his wife. They just got married.
Bros before hoes.
I mean, if you really, maybe this is why they didn't do the whole mom thing, because he just met his mom. He just got married. Everything's coming up charming. And so he leaves. He decides to leave. This is quite unrealistic, I think.
It ain't easy having pals. It ain't easy to have pals. God. So he follows them along on this journey back.
Journey to their death.
And Dylan McDermott, or not Dylan McDermott, who he decided.
Dylan McDermott shows up just to hang out for a bit. Dermot Mulroney. Oh, wait, is it? Who is it anymore? It is Dermot Mulroney.
It's Dirty Steve. Dirty Steve,
by
this time in the film, is really the dirtiest. He's filthy. I made a note of that.
Wow, you just had you made a note of that. You're like progressively filthy, filthiest of the movie.
Now they get to this house, the attorney's house, John Locke's house. It's been a setup, correct?
Oh, yep. I guess.
Pat
right?
Garrett set them up, or Pat Garrett? I mean, now because.
I mean, is it a setup, or do they just kind of wander into what was
about to
going
happen?
To be happening, and they just show up at a bad time? But I think it's got to be a setup because he shows. Jack Palance shows up with the military.
Yeah, yes.
So it has to be a setup because they're not bringing the military in to kill a lawyer and his wife, you know?
Well, that doesn't start with, doesn't the military come first? It's like a shootout. Right?
Yes. No, the military's brought in later because it does start out as Jack Palance and his guys.
And it's a total shootout, which nobody is really harmed. Charlie is really scared. But the wife and the attorney, they're all just huddling and holding, and the shooting happens, and then the soldiers do arrive, and that's when the China woman runs into the house too, right? She goes running into, because that's smart. You should go running into the house that they're shooting at, because,
Well, I think we've established that she's not all that smart, so...
And, So now they're all up in this house that's being shot at. And now this is when...
all of our heroes, our band of heroes, and a lawyer.
And the lawyer, right. John Locke, the lawyer. And then this is when, and I do love it. So Charlie the whole time is just like basically crying and sitting against the wall and listening to the gun go. And something snaps in him where he's like, I'm not going to and he starts shooting outside like a lunatic, angry, and I don't know what he's mumbling. Probably something about his mother.
He probably realizes that he made a huge mistake coming back with these guys and doesn't know how to process
and
this.
Now, of course, our lunatic Billy the Kid is excited by this and pumped up by this.
He loves it. He's laughing at how many guys there are out there. They're shooting. They almost kill him a couple times. He just leans against the wall and laughs some more.
It's a whole...
He's nuts. And I think now Doc is starting to realize just how crazy
he is. A little imbalance
there.
A little imbalance.
Yeah, because like every time he looks at him, he just kind of gives him that look like, you are a monster. And I don't think
you're unstoppable.
With you this
you're
long.
Bad News Bear. But are you? Like, what? Because he is savvy. So now this whole shootout happens.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah, savvy.
Well, because he is. He's creative of fighter. I love this, though. So they let the wife of the attorney out at some point of the house, like before, once the army is there. And she's got carrying plates. Like there's very important china that she couldn't leave her house with. She slaps Jack Palance in the face, and then they carry her off screaming.
Right.
It's and then so the...
Well, she probably gave him the idea. He was probably like, oh, she got her plates out. Now let's burn the place.
So now they do, Now they start to burn the place, and now this crew starts emptying things out of the house, right? Like when they're burning the house,
stuff that's going to burn in a house made of wood. They're like,
let's just get rid of it. Stop. And in the meantime, P.S. Chavez has disappeared. And
he's disappeared. Dirty Steve, freaking out, kicking stuff all over the place,
throwing a
dirty
fit,
Mexican.
right? Because he's left, and he left us, and we all knew it. And this is the sneaky part then, where they throw Billy the Kid out in a box, right?
Yeah, that they are taking a huge risk there. They throw a trunk out the window, and it's the only piece of furniture ever to fly out the window in slow motion.
So you know something's in it. You're like, what's in the box?
And luckily, it lands perfectly right side up.
Yep. Because then...
So, then they just start pouring out of the house. Like, I guess each of them leave through a different exit, just firing wildly at this army. And then as the army, I guess, starts to shoot at the rest of the regulators, Billy the Kid pops out of the trunk like a tiny jack-in-the-box and just starts firing again and going.
He's on peyote again.
And everything's in slow motion now, and it's a big time shootout.
Big time shootout.
And Chavez comes back with horses. He escaped to get horses, and Dirty Steve is like, "Yay, you're the best!" bang, bang, bang. I'm
well,
dead.
he's like, yay, you're the best. Help me up on the horse. And Chavez is like, no.
Chavez is like, hey, you're kind of heavy. I'm out of here.
And then Dirty Steve gets shot.
Dead.
Yep. So then he's shot and killed, right?
Right. Yep.
And then Charlie has a shootout with that big fat guy that they didn't kill in the bathroom. And this shootout goes on forever. Like, Charlie shoots him.
Big fat guy that they didn't kill
the
in
bounty
the bathroom?
hunter that killed...
No, that guy's dead. Yeah.
Is he?
I think. I mean, they shot the hell out of that outhouse. I mean, they blew that thing to pieces once Charlie Sheen died.
Well, so they have a back and forth killing or shootout, right?
Right, where they shoot each other.
But they keep getting up and then shooting. And then finally,
yeah,
Charlie does die, but before he dies, he kills this guy. Like,
yes, he seems very pleased with himself. He actually smiles when he dies. So I guess we're not supposed to feel bad for his now. I don't know. Widow,
right? But how does she even know?
And that woman's never going to get the news.
No, well, maybe
weeks will go by and she'll be like, "Well, I don't know."
Maybe Pat Garrett will go down there and let her know, like, "Hey, hot."
Sorry, I sent your husband to his death. I didn't think he would go. I mean, he just got married.
I didn't expect him to just blindly follow that wild
Billy
kid.
The kid dead. I didn't know these other lunatics would go along with him.
Oh. So most of the lunatics do survive. Oh, who doesn't survive though? So this big shootout happens, and now we've lost Dirty Steve, and we've lost Charlie. Yes. But who we've also lost then in an insane way.
This is insane because it comes out of nowhere.
The attorney.
The lawyer comes outside and is just kind of cheering them on, and he literally has a white flag in his hand. Literally is waving a white flag. I surrender. They get out a giant Gatling gun and just
fire away.
It's like that guy from RoboCop. They just tear him to bits.
I think they were like, "Well, we bought this big old machinery. We might as well use it."
They just ran away. They didn't even give us a chance to use this thing.
So they tear him up.
It's just a weird, like, it's almost like Jack Palance had a temper tantrum that they got away. So somebody had to die.
And it was just the lawyer's day to go down.
It was that poor lawyer. And now his wife is alone with plates.
She's got her plates.
Because their house is burning to the ground. I don't know what's going to happen to her.
At one point before the shootout really happens, he makes some comment, I don't know if you remember this, the lawyer, about his life insurance policy. Why he can't participate in, like, house gunfire or something like that. I don't really know if that would deactivate my life insurance policy. You're just like, what is this line about? You deserve to be shot with a crazy machine gun. I think it's just
for us to go, oh, well, at least she got his life. I mean,
she got the plates and the life insurance. It's all good.
That's right. Those valuable plates and that trunk that Billy the Kid was in. But yeah, Billy the Kid, Doc, who has the Chinese girl at the back of his horse, and Lou Diamond Phillips. That's it, right?
They make it out.
They have escaped. They have escaped, and what's his name? Jack Palance is.
Yes.
But Billy the Kid rides back.
Comes on back. And he was shot at a certain point. But
yeah, he gets shot in the arm or shoulder or something like that.
But he comes back.
But he comes back just to shoot from quite a distance. Jack Palance right between the eyes because he spins around, bullet hole right on his forehead, mouth agape, and he just collapses.
Just reap it, Murphy. It's just over. It's all about pals.
Yeah, reap the whirlwind, right? Isn't that what he says?
Yep.
Whatever that means. I guess that was a phrase back then.
Oh, and then they're off.
And they're off, and we get some voiceover from Kiefer Sutherland about how the other two guys were buried.
That's right.
And somebody snuck in, right, and etched pals on the tombstone.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Adorable.
Yeah, it's
Adorable.
A buddy flick is what it is. It's
it
a buddy
really
flick.
Is. It's a lot of buddies, and Yeah, I don't know. I would assume that this was a movie where I assume it did well. I looked at the thing.
I could see that. I could see that. Yeah.
It made a ton of money. Because I could see it being a very guy movie, but you're going to get the women.
Sure, there's a handsome lineup of men coming in there. It's a Western, a modern. It's always fun when you take that kind of a genre and then you modernize it, which they kind of did. And
if you tell women, listen, you're going to see 2 butts in this
women
movie,
will go.
You got to figure they're like, odds are it's going to be one of the handsome dudes. But it's Casey. What's his name? Casey Siemaszko? Casey Siemaszko?
Oh, I don't know his name.
Whatever Charlie's name is. I don't think women were banking on that.
He's kind of adorable in his own way, but again, it's like seeing. But they.
You seem very disappointed
by his butt. Yeah. It's when he's getting splinters out. Yeah.
I don't even know how he got those splinters in the first place. Are they like bushes or something?
They're in the desert. There's cacti. I don't know.
The desert, there's just wood laying all over the place. You don't know what's going to happen. All right. Okay. Well, that is Young Guns from 1988.
There you have it.
What I do have to say, I still love it, and I would still recommend it. But I hadn't seen it in 15 plus years. I guess I had it built up so much, but I did know the whole thing. Like I knew every line, I knew what was happening.
So it's familiar.
And, if you've never seen it, you have to see it.
I agree. I think it's So I couldn't. I must have. I've had to have seen it. I had not seen it enough times to remember a lot of it, but I know I'd seen it, but it was very fresh and new to me when I watched it, and I found it enjoyable, and like you said, recommendable as far as like if you haven't seen it, you should see it. Cheesy a little bit, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
A little bit,
definitely.
But I mean, it's fun. It's a fun time.
It's very fun. It's fun. It's only like an hour and a half.
It does go fast.
Long.
It does go fast.
I always thought it was longer. I thought it was a longer movie than
Is the second one longer? Because the second one is more...
Listen, I got to tell you. If you've never seen the second one, don't watch
You say nay.
It's upsetting.
It
really is. Because it is. Because this one ends on such a great note. They do escape. Yeah, they have a couple of their crew die. But in the second one, it's just like, hey, do you love Doc? Well, let's murder him. Do you love Lou Diamond Phillips? He's dead. What about Emilio Estevez? At the end, probably gets shot in the back. And then they pick up Christian Slater, who's an idiot and just an asshole through the whole thing. And then they pick up Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, too. It's not good. It really isn't. I guess if you really love this and you want to find out what happened to the characters, I just told you, so you don't have to watch it.
Problem solved there. So you wouldn't recommend the second one. What would you recommend?
First of all, and I meant to talk about this as we were going. Do you think there was a lot of cowboy homosexuality back in the day? Do you think? I mean, and the reason I bring this up is I think with pirates, I think it's well documented that happened a lot. And you think about a bunch of dudes out in the West. Not a whole lot of ladies around. Like, do you think that and partly I'm joking.
Well, what's Brokeback Mountain? Like, isn't that the whole
Brokeback Mountain? Wasn't the whole point of that? Listen, if there are two cowboys,
that's just
and
how
there's
you're
no ladies around.
See, I would like to say, for a pirate, of course you're a pirate. We're a pirate.
Does that mean you're wearing jewelry? Come on, you know what's going to happen.
I think we can all draw conclusions based off your outfit. But when you're a cowboy and you're riding a horse, and you have spurs and a gun, and I don't know any man or woman that would touch Dirty Steve with a 10-foot pole. And if any cowboys look like that, and I'm sure a bunch of them did, I don't think they got laid by anything but, I don't know.
I like how you said that's what Brokeback Mountain is about. Right? It's about these guys, and they have sex with each other until they meet Michelle Williams and Anne Hathaway, right? And then they're totally straight. Like, that's what that movie's about. I think in that, was that Gay Conversion Therapy, right? Don't they, like, bring guys in and just show them pictures of Michelle Williams and Anne Hathaway until they say, no, we're straight.
That's how it's done.
That works,
That's exactly how it's done.
Oh, my God.
Do you recommend Brokeback Mountain?
I'd recommend Brokeback Mountain, definitely. It is very good, though. I didn't mean to talk about it, but it's a good movie. So if people haven't seen it, again, handsome men in cowboy hats. So come on,
indulge.
I was actually going to recommend. Have you ever seen Dead Man?
Oh, is that the one with Johnny Depp?
Johnny Depp?
Yeah, black and white. Yeah.
I was going to recommend that. Like, I decided to recommend like a newer you could pick any old Western to talk about, but a newer Western. And I like that because it's kind of trippy. It's in black and white. It's a Jim Jarmusch movie, which is always a bit weird, but it's good. It's really good. So if you haven't seen that, that's what I would recommend. In addition to Young Guns, of course. Yes. What about you?
I mean, Western one. I mean, this Tombstone. I would recommend Tombstone, not the pizza, but you can always eat it when you're watching an 80s movie. I always, when there's just men on horseback and togetherness, Legends of the Fall just always comes to mind. And I would do a to our own selves. I would also recommend Three Amigos.
I was going to say, you recommended something to us?
No,
and
like,
us alone.
Yeah, this is just for you and I, not the audience. Can we? No. I think Three Amigos is a fun little Western, and if you're looking to have us fun with old guys,
I think if you want to watch a movie that parallels the good gunplay of Three Amigos, Young Guns, don't watch RoboCop. Right. Remember, he just twirls a gun punch. Yes. That's it. Oh my God. Okay. Well, I think
we've wrapped this guy into a cute little Western bow.
We've insulted homosexuals
and Native
cowboys.
American Indians, I'm sure.
And Native Americans. Also pirates. Pirates, we apologize.
Come on, though.
So we should talk about, and I know that, December's coming up. I'm more than super excited about what we have planned for December. Not to tease this out and not to leave our audience in suspense.
Suspend away.
But so in 2 weeks, it is the 30th anniversary of the very first Microsoft Word or Microsoft Office or something like that. I really should have had this planned out before I started.
You know what? The hazier, the better.
But that's right, yeah. So I'm going to say Bill Gates did something 30 years ago that was very important computer-wise.
Beautiful.
So there are so many 80s movies that we could have done with computers. There's war games. There's other ones that I can't think of right now.
Multiple films, yes.
Multiple computer films and other digital things. But you and I decided to go with something that is extremely bizarrely computerized, and that is Tron.
I don't know.
I assume that's the theme song to Tron.
Suspense over.
That's your Tron suspense. Because it sounds like a dumb synthesizer. And I've never seen Tron before.
I don't think I have either.
Okay. I don't know what it is. It's a Disney movie, which is weird.
I know.
I think it's our first Disney movie, right? We haven't done any animated films, have we? Well, Tron will be in 2 weeks. So that's it. So until then, until we talked about Tron and whatever the hell that movie is, because of all these people that have been talking about this, like that guy that does that horror podcast, he talked about us, and our Twitter followers went from 60 to over 100.
Nice, congratulations!
So now we have all these horror people that are following us on Twitter.
They're going to be.
I hope they're not disappointed now that October's over. But
wait till December comes. We're really going.
They're
not going to know what to do. Yeah, although I don't think so. I think it will then we'll have a new influx of fans. There'll be a lot of pirates.
That's right. It's all pirate movies in December, guys, just to let you know.
Dead giveaway. Well,
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, you can follow us on Twitter, GTGMcast, and you can find us on Facebook, Good Times, Great Movies.
That's awesome.
The only thing that is a little bit upsetting, and I don't want to blame our fans for this, but on iTunes, you can give us a little star rating. Just go to iTunes and click on a star rating. Like, we have over 100 people on Twitter and Facebook that follow us, but we have 7-star ratings. So iTunes sets that up. It's some weird algorithm that I don't understand. But the more star ratings we get, the more people we will reach. So
give us some star ratings. You don't even have to say anything. Just rate our stars.
No, you don't have to give us a review. We don't. I don't care. Just click on a star, or 5 of them. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Right.
If it's the worst thing you've ever heard, you can give us 1 star. I'm okay with that.
If we're talking about high knees, it can't be the worst thing you've ever heard.
I don't know what our lineup looks like, but that may be the last time we see butts for a while. Maybe. Unless Tron really surprises
we might
us.
have some like electronic butt coming up.
That's right.
I don't know.
The only Disney film with electronic asses just floating around.
Robot butt. We're gonna have
all right, everybody.
Butt.
So we will see you in 2 weeks.
Oh, yes.
Until then, have fun and watch Tron.
Tron it out.
Okay.
Goodbye, everyone.
Buenos dias, shitheads.